Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack complex topics, really get into the details, and make sure you're truly well informed.
That's the goal.
So today, we're tackling something huge: American public education. It's facing, well, some really profound challenges right now, challenges that impact all of us.
Definitely.
We're looking at what some are calling a dual crisis. On one hand, a really significant and frankly intensifying teacher shortage.
Oh.
And on the other, some genuinely concerning trends in student achievement. Now, these might seem like separate problems, but they're not.
Not at all. They're deeply intertwined.
Exactly. And it creates this challenge that honestly demands our attention right now.
For sure.
So our mission today is to take a real deep dive into Dr. Robert White's comprehensive study. It's called Teacher Shortages and Academic Attainment.
Yeah, it's quite a piece of work.
It really digs into how these two problems are connected, looking at that association systematically. Our goal: pull out the key insights, clarify those connections.
And maybe explore some potential solutions.
Exactly, so that by the end of this, you have a clear, actionable understanding of what's going on.
And it's important to stress, this study by Dr. White, it's not just theory.
Right.
It pulls from a really rich stack of national data. We're talking 2010 right through to 2024.
That's a wide span.
It is. It includes federal teacher shortage designations, state staffing reports, those big assessment results like NAEP.
The nation's report card.
That's the one. And PIESA, the international comparison. Plus, policy analyses. It's all grounded in extensive evidence.
So what we'll unpack today, we'll look at the current scope of these teacher shortages.
Yeah.
How bad is it? Where is it bad?
Uh-huh.
How it's evolved.
And how the pipeline, the supply of qualified teachers has changed.
A crucial piece.
Then we'll examine the statistical links. How do these shortages actually relate to student test scores?
The core connection.
And finally, critically, what policy approaches seem to be working? What's showing promise?
And why does this matter to you listening right now? It's pretty simple, really.
Whether you're a parent, maybe trying to navigate school choices, or you're an educator actually on the front lines.
Or just someone who cares about your community's future.
Exactly. Understanding these trends is just crucial. It's more than just numbers and stats.
It's about opportunity.
Educational opportunity,
Right.
equity for millions of students.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So to really get a handle on this dual crisis, we need to look at the scale of the teacher shortage first. And the numbers, honestly, they're kind of a wake-up call.
They really are stark.
We're talking over 120,000 teaching positions, just vacant, empty classrooms across the country.
And that's just part of it, right?
That's not even the whole picture. There's another, 250,000 positions filled by staff who aren't fully certified for the job they're doing.
Wow. So you add that up.
It's nearly 400,000 positions where students aren't getting a fully qualified teacher. That's huge.
Huge daily impact.
And just to hammer this home, recent surveys found 86%. 86% of school districts struggled to fill open positions for this past school year, 2023-24.
86%. That just shows how widespread this is.
So what do these figures really tell us about the health of our education system?
Well, it's profound. This isn't some new problem that just appeared overnight.
Right, it's been brewing.
Exactly. It's been intensifying. The study talks about this revolving door phenomenon in teaching.
Teachers coming and going?
Yeah. Teacher turnover hit about 14% in 2022. It got slightly better, down to 12% by 2024, but still, these issues were growing even before the pandemic.
So COVID didn't cause it, but maybe made it worse.
Accelerated it, certainly.
Yeah.
But the underlying instability was already there. It points to something deeper in the profession.
What really jumps out from the study, though, is that these shortages aren't the same everywhere. It's not hitting every school or every subject equally.
No, not at all. Dr. White's study is crystal clear on this.
So where are they worst?
The shortages are disproportionately severe. They hit high-poverty districts much harder. Same for rural, remote areas, and also urban core neighborhoods.
Okay, so geography matters. What about subjects?
Oh, absolutely. Certain subjects are really feeling the pinch. Special education has the highest total shortage rate, 19%.
19%. That's nearly 1 in 5 positions affected. That's critical for those kids.
It's a huge concern, given the specialized support needed. Then you've got mathematics at 16.4% shortage.
Also foundational.
Right? Science is at 14.8%, foreign languages at 13.4%. These are core areas for student development for future opportunities.
The study gives some specific examples too, right, to kind of bring this home.
It does. Florida, for example, leads in just the raw number of vacancies over 5,100 in 2024.
Wow.
But if you adjust for the number of students, West Virginia actually has the highest rate of shortage per student.
Interesting distinction.
And then look at Oklahoma. They issued over 4,600 emergency certifications in 2023-24.
Emergency certifications, meaning people teaching without the standard qualifications.
Exactly.
Wow.
And get this. Back in 2011-12, Oklahoma issued just 32 of those.
32 to over 4,600.
It's a massive, almost unbelievable jump.
So this raises a really important question for you listening. What does it actually mean for students when their schools or specific subjects like math or special ed consistently lack fully qualified teachers year after year?
Yeah, that cumulative impact is worrying. And hearing those numbers, nearly 400,000 positions affected, especially in those critical areas, it makes you ask, where are all of the teachers? Or maybe, where are they coming from?
Which brings us straight to the supply side, the shrinking pipeline.
Precisely. The study points to a major issue here. Fewer people are entering and completing teacher preparation programs.
So fewer people training to be teachers.
Exactly. Total enrollment in these programs dropped by 16% between 2010 and 2023.
16% is noticeable.
But wait, it gets steeper. The number of people actually completing these programs, that declined by 27% in the same period.
Wow, so even more people are dropping out during the training.
It suggests not just less initial interest, but also increasing attrition within the programs themselves. People start, but don't finish.
So if fewer people are making it through the training pipeline, what does that spell for the future workforce? It sounds pretty concerning for staffing schools down the line.
It really does paint a concerning picture for sustainable staffing.
Does the study give clues as to why this decline is happening?
Yes, it drills down into the factors and the strongest predictor, relative teacher compensation.
Money talks, basically.
In a way, yes. States where teachers are paid better, especially compared to what other college graduates in that state earn, they consistently have higher enrollment in teacher prep programs.
Makes sense. What else?
Other factors pop up too. State unemployment rates, interestingly. Maybe teaching looks more stable during economic downturns.
A counter-cyclical thing?
Sort of. Also, education funding per pupil matters, and even things like administrative burdens. Complex certification tests, for example, can put people off.
It's not just pay, it's a whole package.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is looking internationally. Countries like Finland and Singapore, they maintain strong teacher workforces.
How do they do it?
Well, they tend to have highly selective preparation programs, competitive pay, and grant teachers a lot of professional autonomy. Respect for the profession.
Which sounds quite different from some U.S. approaches.
It contrasts pretty sharply with approaches that often focus on just lowering the bar for entry to fill immediate gaps.
Right. It underscores that it's not just about getting a person in the classroom. It's about the quality, the sustainability of the teaching force we're building for our kids.
Nicely.
And this issue of quality, of qualified teachers, ties directly into the other side of this crisis.
Yeah.
The concerning trends we're seeing in student achievement.
Yeah, the timing is hard to ignore.
So at the same time we have these growing shortages, national assessment data is showing some worrying signs. The 2024 NAEP results, for instance.
Is the nation's report card again?
Yep. Continued declines in reading for both 4th and 8th graders. And this isn't new, right? This downward trend was visible starting around 2015.
That's key, well before the pandemic disruption.
Exactly. What about math?
Math is a bit more mixed. 4th grade saw a tiny improvement recently, but still below pre-pandemic levels.
Okay.
But 8th grade math, that's showing a widening achievement gap between the highest and lowest performing students. That gap is growing.
That's a serious equity concern. And internationally.
PISA results show similar declines for U.S. students compared to their peers in other countries. It suggests this isn't just a U.S.-specific testing issue, maybe something broader.
So we know the pandemic definitely made things worse. The study mentions the biggest reading score drop since 1990 happened in 2022.
Yes, COVID certainly accelerated these negative trends, no doubt about it. But as you said, the study emphasizes these patterns were emerging before 2020.
Those achievement gaps started widening around 2012, the study says.
Correct. And, we should acknowledge other potential factors here, too. It might not just be teacher shortages.
Like what?
Well, think about how much more kids use digital devices now. Social media's impact on attention spans, maybe?
Good.
Changes in the tests themselves or even broader issues like growing economic inequality could also be playing a role. It's complex.
It is complex, but let's try to connect the dots here. What does Dr. White's study actually find about the statistical relationship between these teacher shortages and student outcomes?
Okay, this is where it gets really direct. The study shows significant negative correlations,
Mean.
meaning as the indicators of teacher shortage like vacancies, underqualified staff, high turnover go up, student achievement scores on NAEP and PISA tend to go down.
So there's a clear link in the data.
A very strong negative correlation. Nationally, the correlation between the combined shortage rate and NIEP reading scores was minimal 0.68. For math, it was minimal 0.61. Those are strong statistical relationships.
So if we look at the bigger picture, the regression models, they
Well,
try to control for other things, right? Like student demographics.
exactly. Even when controlling for factors like poverty, race, prior achievement levels, the models still show that increased teacher shortages are reliably associated with decreased student achievement.
Can we quantify that impact at all?
Yeah, the study put some numbers on it. A 1 standard deviation increase in the rate of positions vacant or filled by underqualified staff, that's linked to about a 0.17 standard deviation decrease in reading scores
Okay.
and a 0.14 standard deviation decrease in math scores. Now, those might sound like technical numbers, but in education research, that's considered a meaningful, significant impact.
It's not just noise in the data.
Definitely not. It's a quantifiable hit to student learning.
So this leads to a really crucial question then. Who feels this impact the most? Is it spread evenly?
No. And this is one of the most concerning findings. The study reveals that teacher shortages have a significantly stronger negative association with achievement for students who are already vulnerable, meaning economically disadvantaged students, students with disabilities, English learners. They are disproportionately harmed by these shortages.
So the students who often need the most support are getting hit the hardest by the lack of qualified teachers.
Precisely. And this directly contributes to those widening achievement gaps we talked about.
Can you give an example?
Sure. That NAEP reading gap between students from high and low socioeconomic backgrounds. It grew from 31 points in 2013 to 37 points in 2024.
Okay, a 6-point increase in the gap.
Right. And the study estimates that about 42% of that widening gap is associated with those students having different levels of exposure to teacher shortages.
Wow, nearly half the increase in the gap is linked to this issue,
Yeah. It aligns perfectly with something called resource substitution theory.
which basically says,
It suggests that when essential resources like a great qualified teacher are scarce, students who already have fewer advantages outside of school get hit harder. They don't have other resources at home, maybe, to compensate for weaker instruction at school.
that makes a lot of sense, unfortunately.
It does.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem. Significant shortages, dropping achievement, and the worst impacts falling on vulnerable kids. The next obvious question is, what are states actually doing about this? And more importantly, what's working?
Right. The study dives deep into policy responses, categorizing them into 4 main buckets.
Okay, what's the first one?
First up, barrier reduction approaches. Think of these as ways to get people into classrooms quickly. Modifying certification rules, issuing those emergency certifications we mentioned.
Quick fixes.
Pretty much. And 47 states did some version of this. The finding? Well, they do lead to rapid short-term drops in vacancies.
Yeah.
You fill the slots faster.
Sounds good initially.
But the study finds no significant improvement in student achievement over the long term associated with these policies. And if used alone, they might even correlate negatively with achievement.
So filling a spot with a less qualified person doesn't necessarily help kids learn more and might even hurt.
That's what the data suggests. It's a temporary patch, not a solution for quality.
Okay, what's the second category?
Compensation strategies. This is about the money. Salary increases, recruitment bonuses, maybe loan forgiveness,
Paying teachers more.
essentially. 39 states implemented policies like these. The impact on vacancies was a bit more modest right away compared to just lowering barriers.
Slower fill.
Slightly slower immediate effect on filling every vacancy, but much stronger positive associations with teacher retention, keeping teachers in the job, and crucially, with student achievement.
So money helps keep good teachers, and that helps kids.
Yes, the study links these strategies to about a 1.8 NAEP point increase over 4 years. And the effect was even stronger when the money was targeted specifically to high-need schools or subjects.
So strategic investment matters.
Very much so.
All right, category 3.
Working conditions improvements. This is about making the job itself better. Things like reducing class sizes, providing strong mentoring for new teachers, offering more planning time, or increasing administrative support so teachers aren't bogged down.
Making the school a better place to work.
Exactly. 28 states tried these policies. They showed the strongest associations with both keeping teachers and substantial positive effects on student achievement.
Strongest. Even more than pay.
In terms of the associated achievement gains, yes. Linked to about a 2.3 NAPP point increase over 4 years, and these were particularly helpful in high-poverty schools.
That really highlights how important the day-to-day environment is for teachers.
Absolutely. It's not just the paycheck. It's feeling supported and effective.
Okay, and the final category.
Number 4 is pipeline development programs. These are the longer-term investments. Think grow your own programs trying to get local high schoolers interested in teaching.
Building the bench for the future.
Right, or partnerships between universities and school districts to improve teacher training. 31 states implemented these.
And the impact.
Small short-term effects on vacancies, as you might expect. These take time. But increasingly positive impacts over time, both for filling vacancies eventually and for moderate achievement gains around 1.5 NAEP points over 4 years.
So a slower burn, but important for the long haul.
Exactly. It's about building that sustainable future workforce.
So looking across these 4 types of policies, what's the big takeaway? It sounds like some are definitely better than others, but maybe there's more to it.
Absolutely. The single biggest takeaway from the policy analysis is that comprehensive approaches work best.
Meaning doing just one thing isn't enough?
Right. The states that combine strategies, say, boosting compensation and improving working conditions and investing in pipeline development, those states showed significantly larger positive effects overall. It's not about finding the silver bullet, but about deploying a coherent, multifaceted strategy.
Synergies between the different approaches.
Precisely. And the study highlights a couple of bright spot case studies where this really played out.
Oh, yeah. Like where?
Louisiana, for instance. They were the only state to actually surpass their pre-pandemic 2019 fourth grade reading scores in 2024.
That's incredible how they managed that.
Through a combination. They implemented targeted pay raises and 18% boost for teachers in high-need areas. They coupled that with strong mentor programs for teachers, efforts to reduce administrative burdens, and major investments in teaching the science of reading effectively in elementary grades.
Wow, that really is comprehensive. It touches on pay, support, and instruction.
It does. It wasn't just one thing.
That's genuinely inspiring. What do you think was the toughest part of making those changes happen in Louisiana? How did they overcome the hurdles?
Well, reports suggest the biggest challenge initially was just the sheer scale of coordinating all those changes across different districts and getting buy-in from everyone, districts, unions, the community.
Yeah, it sounds tough.
They reportedly overcame it with really strong communication, focusing on demonstrating some early wins to build momentum, and crucially, ensuring the funding was sustained over several years. It wasn't a flash in the pan.
Commitment. And Alabama had success too, right? In math.
Yes, Alabama saw similar success, exceeding its 2019 fourth grade math scores in 2024. Again, a holistic approach.
What did they do?
Significant salary increases for math teachers, especially a 25% bump for those in high-need schools. But also, intensive professional development focused on improving math instruction quality and strong partnerships with universities to better prepare new math teachers.
So, again, multiple levers pulled at once.
Exactly. These successes really underscore what the study suggests. The key is adequate, sustained funding, clear policy coherence so the pieces fit together, getting stakeholders involved, and actually monitoring systematically if these initiatives are working.
It's about creating a whole system where teachers feel valued, supported, and equipped to succeed, not just plugging holes.
You got it. It's about elevating the profession.
Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground today. We've seen the teacher shortage is real, it's widespread, and it's hitting vulnerable students and key subjects hardest.
And it's demonstrably linked to those concerning declines in academic achievement.
We also dug into the shrinking teacher pipeline, the supply side problem. But crucially, we ended on a note of hope. Smart, comprehensive policy choices can make a real difference.
They can turn the tide, where they're implemented thoughtfully and sustained.
This whole deep dive really shows us that, look, simply lowering the bar to get people into classrooms isn't the answer.
No. Sustainable improvement comes from those comprehensive, coherent strategies. Prioritizing competitive pay, yes, but also supportive working conditions and that long-term pipeline development.
It really is about elevating the teaching profession itself, isn't it? Acknowledging its vital role.
Investing in it for the long haul. treating it like the essential profession it is.
And this study makes it so clear. The consequences of not doing that, of letting these challenges fester, they fall most heavily on the students with the greatest needs. It widens the very gaps we say we want to close.
That's stark reality.
So, beyond the data, beyond the policy debates, here's something to think about. A provocative thought for you. How might you, right there in your own community, contribute to valuing teachers more? To ensuring every student gets access to the high-quality education they deserve?
What would that look like?
Yeah, what would it look like if we collectively really treated teaching as the essential, highly respected profession it truly is, instead of sometimes maybe an afterthought or a job of last resort, something to mull over?